Hello, Eric Walczykowski here, CEO of Bespoke Partners and host of Tailored Talent. Today, I'm joined with Tess Fischer, the head of our go-to-market practice. Tess, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Eric. Good to see you as always.
Fantastic. Well, a lot of good things going on in the market today, despite the fact that we don't have a lot of deals done. One of the things I wanted to start off is we recently released the Executive Index. Talk to me a little bit about how that's changed your search process.
Yes, the Executive Index has been amazing. And I try to explain it to clients that Bespoke is really well known for our bottoms-up approach to recruiting. We know a lot of people. We have an amazing network given our specialization and focus. And the Executive Index is here to create also, in addition to the bottoms-up, a top-down approach. So the Executive Index has mapped almost 700,000 software executives. And we are able to apply a scorecard to the index in order to uncover people that we don't know. And so we've talked to a lot of clients about using the Executive Index. We're, of course, using it on every search when we launch, but we're also using it when we get stuck. So we're in a situation where the headquarters has changed and the client would really like the CRO in New York. And it's amazing because we can map out New York from a geo perspective as well as surrounding areas and really quickly help the CEO who thinks he wants a CRO in New York understand what that total addressable market looks like and what we might really be looking to go after if we do launch a search.
It's pretty cool. I mean, the feedback I've gotten from our clients is no one has anything close to this, and it effectively makes sure that we don't miss any candidates in the market. So glad to hear you're having a good experience using it. Talk to me a little bit about the go-to-market trends you're seeing in 2025.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year and it has not slowed down. I think everybody anticipates end of Q1, do we need to replace our go-to-market leaders? One of the things that's been really interesting because of these extended timeframes for hold periods, you mentioned there are not as many deals in the market. We're seeing a lot more focus on domain experience and clients really unwilling to consider adjacent industries. So we're working in GovTech and life sciences software, real estate. It breaks out to the larger high velocity versus enterprise and everything in between. But we're really seeing this pressure for CROs, especially and go-to-market leaders, to come in and have a really quick ramp. And if you know the ICP, you know the end market, you know the client base, you're just going to be able to be more impactful early on. I also think we've seen more competition for top go-to-market talent. The market is decreasing in terms of available candidates. It's extremely hard to pull someone out of a role if they're in a good spot where they think they may have 12 to 18 months to transact. And we're seeing a lot of retention plays as well. So I always tell people they're not cheaper and they're not easier, even though we're in a down market more, broadly.
No doubt. Well, I mean, with the candidate market so tight, I mean, it goes back to the importance of the Executive Index and the ability to make sure that we know everybody in the market that potentially could fill the role. Beyond the Executive Index, how else do you see opportunities that Bespoke Partners is differentiating? I mean, there's some human factors that we're leveraging as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually just had a pitch this morning. A research analyst joined me. The end market is financial software. And it was amazing because he was able to show up and talk about how our research team and the analysts are staffed and organized around over 28 industries. So if you think Bespoke, private equity backed software, we're also layering in this end market, mainly because of what I just told you, the need for us to really map end markets and find candidates that are going to come in with that relevant experience. But the research team just brings an amazing layer of that end market expertise. They advise on every search, and it's given us a lot of leverage. The other thing that I'd like to mention is our leader community. It's been really fun to see it grow. It's our support for placed candidates, as well as just other leaders in the software community. We tap into that community to host dinners and other events. We just had one in Austin for go-to-market. There were over 35 mix of candidates and clients that joined us for an evening of fun. Wouldn't surprise you that go-to-market leaders chatted until the late hours of the evening and we got kicked out, but it was just an amazing networking experience.
No, absolutely. And look, I think as we always talk about it internally, we need to take care of both sides of the marketplace. And I think obviously we do amazing work with our clients, but we do just as much amazing work with our candidates as well, because this is a long journey that we're all working together in this ecosystem in software, and that focus is so important. What trends are emerging around candidate strategies in go-to-market?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of candidates over the past few months really prioritizing the upside of a new opportunity. They're keen on, can they make more equity in the next turn than their current situation? So what that's doing is it's delaying or extending our negotiation periods. Additionally, most of our best candidates have multiple offers. So they are still focused on cash compensation. They're willing to go through a full evaluation process. We're seeing a lot of candidates really lean in, which is a departure from kind of the pandemic era when rushed hiring was a thing. The other thing I'd mention is that we're seeing broader titles. We talk a lot about 75 titles in B2B SaaS go-to-market, but the chief growth officer and chief commercial officer are appearing a bit more in a lot of our searches. And this is not to confuse it with like the big CRO that owns everything. We're still seeing more of a back to basics play, but in order to get some of the better candidates, we're seeing a little bit of creativity in the titling, but again, really steering away from more of that classic president because of the distraction that it creates for these leaders, where they often really need them to come in and focus on sales and hitting the number and driving a really efficient process.
No doubt. Well, and I think, again, this gets back to focus. Because of the focus you and your team have, there's nobody in the world that can guide the clients through this process better than you. Because I think if I think about the number of candidates you placed last year, I would be troubled to find anybody that has placed as many candidates in mid-market private equity software as you. And so that's pretty amazing. The other thing that I like to talk about at Bespoke is data is gold. And because of our focus, we have better data than anybody else in our market. Talk to me about one of your favorite data sets.
Compensation is always key. We find coin operated individuals and go to market most of the time. And again, we're really seeing aggressive compensation packages to attract top talent. Some of our most prolific clients that I never thought in private equity would come to the table are using creative tactics. We've seen minimum equity value guarantees. We've seen guaranteed bonuses for the first year to even, we would go out for a year and a half, meaning the CRO is not making half of their compensation based on hitting numbers, it's guaranteed. And we even saw a $1.5 million loan to buy out equity. So we're really seeing our clients come to the table. We're really working with them to get creative. With equity being, still a very attractive part of the compensation package, executives are valuing near-term cash over long-term equity. And, we therefore see cash on the rise as well. So again, our conversations around compensation and how to get creative, and really clients coming to us and saying, what are you seeing and hearing? We need your advice and help in crafting the compensation package that's going to land our candidate, which, as I've always told you, is a really fun part of our job.
It is, but in a tight market like this, where we're having to get creative and sometimes pay outsized packages, that data is so important because our clients don't want to overpay at the end of the day. They want to get good value for what they're doing. So our ability to benchmark across the market is just so important as we do that. When we think about the search process, any changing expectations you're seeing?
Not expectations, but I do see more flexibility in what clients are willing to hire. And I know I talked at the beginning about the end market, not necessarily there, but there was a point in time where everyone wanted the proven, scaled, go-to-market executive, somebody that's seen the movie before, somebody that worked in private equity and had a successful exit. Well, that market is really pretty tapped. And so we're seeing clients with a willingness to recruit from public companies. We're seeing, again, clients bring higher compensation packages. We're seeing creativity. We still hire, 35% of the time in go-to-market are we hiring a step up. But we're just seeing that, okay, we know, and especially again with the executive index, we know what the total addressable market is, but that doesn't mean that we're just going to run that path and not have pipeline throughout the process. So we're constantly getting creative, and we're seeing our clients lean into that, which is helping us still come under a 90-day close for our.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah. Well, speaking of clients, I know we have to get you off to a client, but I got one more question for you. What are you expecting from the rest of the year?
I think the rest of the year we'll continue to see sky high demand and go-to-market. We're seeing smaller companies really put value in hiring amazing go-to-market leadership, and they're willing to pay for it. The modernization, and everybody talks about AI, but it is still going to be relevant in the front office go-to-market functions. And we still hear optimism. I think it's a little bit more measured, but clients are expressing to us as we're meeting with them in person and asking them about their perception on 2025 is that the dam will break, that sometime this year we'll see more opportunities given movement in executives, and we'll be excited to see that uptick. But again, keeping really busy and in a really active market and go-to-market.
So there you have it, tight market for executives, and hopefully towards the end of the year, we start to see that deal flow churn pick up. Tess, amazing to have you on the show. Truly appreciate your leadership and partnership and go-to-market. There's no one like you in the industry. And again, just thankful for the time.
Great to see you, Eric. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.